the world of boxing, there are few fighters who can leave such an indelible mark on the sport with their sheer power and precision. One such fighter is Naoya Inoue, a man often referred to as the Monster due to his devastating knockout power and almost unparalleled ability to dismantle his opponents. Known for his speed, technical prowess, and knockout ability, Inoue has built a reputation as one of the most feared fighters in the sport today. Over the years, he has delivered some of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history, each one seemingly more brutal than the last. In July 2023, Inoue stepped up in weight and faced what many considered his toughest career test at the time, undefeated American champion Stephen Fulton. Going into the fight, many experts had doubts about Inoue's ability to perform at a higher weight class, with some even claiming that his skills would not be enough to overcome a fighter of Fulton's caliber. There were whispers that Inoue was overrated, largely because of his status as a Japanese fighter, which led to an underestimation of his ability to compete against world-class competition. Fulton himself seemed to share these sentiments, believing that Inoue was too small, too short, and not capable of competing against him. The animosity between the two fighters became clear during the pre-fight face-offs, where Fulton dared to stare deeply into Inoue's eyes, taunting him with an air of cockiness. The tension was palpable, and the two high-caliber fighters had to be separated by officials. Such was the animosity between them. However, it was clear that Inoue was undeterred by Fulton's bravado, as he calmly prepared for what would be a life-changing moment for the cocky American champion. When the fight began, Inoue wasted no time showcasing his skills. A picture-perfect jab to the body followed by a hard right hand sent Fulton reeling, and from that moment on, it was clear that Inoue was in full control. Despite Fulton's best efforts to fight back, Inoue's precision and power were too much for him. The Japanese fighter's incredible technique and seemingly unbreakable focus dominated the ring. As the fight went on, it became evident that Inoue was not only capable of handling the weight class change, but was also more than capable of overcoming a fighter who had previously been considered one of the best in the division. In the sixth round, Inoue unleashed a devastating combination that left Fulton stunned. The American champion was completely overwhelmed by the onslaught and, by the eighth round, was unable to continue. Inoue had done the impossible. He had silenced his doubters, won a 4th Division World Championship, and proven that he was one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. It was a stunning victory that left the boxing world in awe. But Inoue's story did not end there. His next fight, which took place in January 2025, would be an even more terrifying display of his knockout ability. His opponent, Korean fighter Yoo-Jun Kim, had stepped up to replace Sam Goodman, who was originally booked to fight Inoue. Kim, though brave, was vastly outmatched in this contest. From the very start of the fight, Inoue made his intentions clear. Kim, foolishly but bravely, dared Inoue to bring his best, a challenge that would be his undoing. As the fight progressed, Inoue began to pick apart Kim with methodical precision. His jabs landed with the force of a sledgehammer, and his right hand followed with lightning speed, leaving Kim struggling to find any answer to the relentless barrage. Kim pressed forward, but it was clear that he was overmatched. With every move Inoue made, Kim seemed to be 2 steps behind, unable to keep up with the speed and power of his opponent. Inoue's combination of power, speed, and technique was simply too much for Kim, and the Korean fighter soon found himself in a world of trouble. Kim's most significant mistake came when he dared Inoue to continue, inviting him to bring his fury to the ring. This decision would prove disastrous. Inoue unleashed a brutal barrage of punches that drained Kim's stamina and, in a matter of seconds, left him completely defenseless. The fight ended with a devastating finishing blow, one that left Kim crumpled to the canvas, unable to continue. The speed and ferocity with which Inoue dispatched his opponent left everyone in the arena in stunned silence. This was, without a doubt, one of the most terrifying knockouts in recent boxing history. However, this wasn't the first time Inoue had delivered a knockout for the ages. Back in October 2018, Inoue participated in the World Boxing Super Series, where he faced Juan Carlos Payano in the quarterfinals. From the outset, Payano made the fatal mistake of taking the role of aggressor, rushing into the fight with the belief that he could overpower Inoue. But what happened next shocked everyone in the arena. Inoue, with lightning-fast reflexes and exceptional technique, countered Payano's aggression with a two-punch combination that sent the Colombian fighter straight to the canvas. The knockout was so swift and brutal that it seemed almost surreal. The knockout was widely regarded as one of the best of the year, with Ring magazine voting it as the knockout of the year. Inoue's ability to dispatch his opponent in such a short amount of time left no doubt about his exceptional talent. The ferocity and precision of his punches were on full display, and it was clear that Inoue was a force to be reckoned with in the boxing world. No one had been able to stop Payano before, but Inoue did so with ease, showcasing just how dominant he was in the ring. Inoue's rise to prominence began long before he stepped into the ring with Payano. Back when he was a teenager in Japan, he made his professional debut, quickly making a name for himself with his devastating knockout power. Unlike many other young fighters who padded their records with easy victories, Inoue was thrown straight into the deep end, facing some of the toughest opponents in the sport from the very start. His first major test came when he faced the reigning flyweight champion from the Philippines, Omar Narvaez. Inoue's performance was nothing short of spectacular, as he dismantled Narvaez with a combination of lightning-fast jabs and devastating power shots. As the fight progressed, Inoue began to showcase his natural ability to unleash brutal combinations that left Narvaez reeling. His speed and power were unparalleled, and by the time the fight ended, it was clear that Inoue was destined for greatness. He was no longer just a young upstart. He was a legitimate contender for world titles. But Inoue's ability to close the show was truly showcased in his fight against Thailand's veteran fighter, Thamanoon Neomtrong. From the opening bell, Inoue unleashed a series of fast jabs and power shots, leaving Neomtrong unable to land a clean hit. The Thai fighter charged forward, but he quickly realized that he was in over his head. Inoue, now visibly angry, unleashed a devastating combination that ended the fight in spectacular fashion. Neomtrong joined the growing list of fighters who had been sent to the Shadow Realm by the Monster. One of the most memorable moments in Inoue's career came in December 2016, when he faced veteran boxer Kohei Kono. Kono, a seasoned fighter with a reputation for having an iron chin, had never been stopped in his career. But Inoue was determined to make a statement. From the opening bell, it was clear that Inoue was not content to simply outpoint Kono. He was looking for the knockout. Kono fought valiantly, but it quickly became evident that he was no match for Inoue's ferocity. In the 6th round, Kono tried to bully Inoue, but he was met with a brutal left hook that sent him crashing to the canvas. Kono tried to rise, but his body simply couldn't respond. The knockout was so brutal that it left Kono sprawled on the canvas like a fallen tree, unable to continue. The Monster had once again shown his incredible knockout power, leaving no doubt about his place among the best in the world. In the years since, Inoue has continued to build on his legacy, taking on tougher and tougher opponents and dispatching them with the same terrifying precision that has made him one of the most feared fighters in the sport. His combination of speed, power, and technique has made him a nightmare for anyone who steps into the ring with him, and his reputation continues to grow with each devastating knockout. As Inoue moves forward in his career, it's clear that he will remain a dominant force in the world of boxing, and his journey to the top is far from over. Fans and critics alike continue to watch in awe as the Monster continues to carve his name into boxing history, with each brutal knockout and every stunning performance in the ring. With his future looking brighter than ever, one thing is for certain: Naoya Inoue's legacy will be one of the most remarkable in the history of boxing.